So last time we have studied difference between crystalline and amorphous solid. Now one question comes that is it possible to convert crystalline solid into amorphous solid? Then answer is yes. We can convert crystalline solid into amorphous solid. If we melt any crystalline solid and then if we freeze it very rapidly, if we cool it very rapidly, then it do not get sufficient time to arrange constituent particles in a specific order and it results in formation of amorphous solid. Similarly, if we convert crystalline solid into vapor form and if we freeze it very rapidly, in that case crystalline solid will convert into amorphous solid. For example, if we talk about SiO4, it exists in two forms. First form is glass and second form is quartz. This is amorphous solid. If we talk about the glass, this one is amorphous solid and this quartz is crystalline solid. Quartz is crystalline solid. So if we heat this quartz and then if we cool it, suppose if we heat and then we rapidly cool it, first we heat to convert this. Suppose if we are heating it and then we convert melt and then rapid cooling, and if we perform rapid cooling, suddenly decreasing the temperature, in that case it will convert into amorphous substance, that is glass. So here we can see that we can convert quartz into glass by melting it and then rapid cooling. So this way we can convert crystalline solid into amorphous solid. Now we will see the classification of crystalline solids on the basis of types of intermolecular forces acting between the constituent particles. Crystalline solids are classified into following types. So these types are, first one is ionic solid. If we talk about the first type, this one is ionic solid. Ionic solid. So we'll classify this on the basis of type of intermolecular forces. If we talk about the type of intermolecular forces, intermolecular, and the best word for this is, instead of using intermolecular forces, this is not the best suitable word here, we can use binding force. The type of binding force of constituent particle is electrostatic force of attraction. We know that in ionic compound, electrostatic force of attraction acts. So here also the binding force is electrostatic force of attraction between positively charged and negatively charged ions. Whenever we say ionic compound or ionic solid, it will have ion which will have two parts. One will be positively charged called cation, another will be negatively charged called anions. The force acting between this cation and anion is electrostatic force of attraction, and this electrostatic force of attraction is responsible for holding constituent particles of ionic solid in crystal. The constituent particles of this ionic solid, if we talk about constituent particles, then constituent particles of this ionic solid will be positively charged cations, or we may say positively charged ions, and negatively charged ions, and negatively charged ions. This is very simple to understand that if it is an ionic compound, obviously it will consist of ions, and that ions will be in two forms, negatively charged anion and positively charged cation, and the binding force between these different types of anions, that is cation and anion, will be electrostatic force of attraction. So this was the constituent particles. Examples of such kinds of ionic solids, if we see the examples, then in examples we can see NaCl, KCl, NaF, sodium fluoride, calcium chloride, etc. These are examples of ionic solids in which NaCl, we can see that in NaCl there will be electrostatic force of attraction between Na plus and Cl minus. In case of KCl, there will be electrostatic force of attraction between positively charged potassium ion and chloride ion. Similarly, there will be attraction force between sodium ion and fluoride ion. So these are the examples. If we talk about the physical properties, what is the import of this? If we see the physical properties of ionic solid, then we all know that these ionic solids are very hard and brittle. Hard and brittle, because we know that the force of attraction is very high. That's why ionic solids are very hard and brittle. Next property, if we talk about, next property is the solubility. If we talk about the solubility of these compounds, then these ionic compounds are soluble in polar solvent. Soluble in polar solvent and insoluble in non-polar solvent. Insoluble in non-polar solvent. In class 11th, we have studied that like dissolves like, means if we dissolve polar substance into polar solvent, it will get soluble, and if we dissolve non-polar substance into non-polar solvent, then it will dissolve. Means the binding force acting between the constituent particles will be soluble in those solvent which possesses the same kind of binding forces. Here we know that ionic solid, in ionic solid the attraction force is electrostatic force of attraction, and obviously ionic solid will be polar because it consists of positively charged cations and negatively charged anions. So this is polar, and when we dissolve this in polar solvent like water, in that case it will be soluble in water. But if we dissolve same ionic solid in non-polar solvent like kerosene, benzene, petrol, etc., then it will be insoluble, because all these kerosene, petrol, diesel, benzene, these are non-polar solvent and ionic solids are polar. So polar substance will not be soluble in non-polar substance. We call in chemistry this concept as like dissolves like, same thing dissolves in same thing. So soluble in polar solvent and insoluble in non-polar solvent. So if we talk about the conductivity, does it possesses any conductivity? Then we can clearly say that it is in non-conductive in solid state. Non-conductive in solid state. Why this is like, why non-conductive in solid state? Because in solid state the ionic solid will not be dissociated as Na plus and Cl minus. Ionic solid does not exist as Na plus and Cl minus. Their constituent ions are binded together. They are not free to move. This is the property of solid state of matter, that constituent particles are held very strongly together. So if it is in solid state, the ions, that is positively charged cation, sodium cation, negatively charged anions, are not free to move. When it is not free to move, then it cannot conduct electricity, because for conduction of electricity ions or electrons must move, and in the solid state of ionic solid these ions are not free to move. That's why it is non-conductive in solid state. But if we dissolve the same substance in water, suppose we have NaCl, if we keep NaCl on a paper and we connect a wire on one end of NaCl and touch from other end, we will not get electric shock, because ions are not free to move in solid state of NaCl. But at the same time, if we sprinkle some amount of water over the NaCl, then now if we touch the another end and one end connected to the electric wire, then we can get electric shock. Definitely we will get the electric shock. Why? Because when we add NaCl in water, in that case NaCl dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus ions. inside the water. Dissociation of Na plus takes place in Na plus and Cl minus. So in that molten state or liquid state, plenty of sodium cation and chlorine anions are free to move. And when they will be free to move, and if we apply potential difference across that solution, then under the influence of that potential difference, these cations and anions will start to move, and when they will start to move, they will start to conduct electricity. So in solid state, they are non-conductive, while in liquid state or in molten state, in solution or in molten state conducts electricity. It conducts electricity. So these are the properties of ionic solids. Now another kind of crystalline solid is this molecular solid is further classified into three types. First is non-polar molecular solid. Non-polar molecular solid. Second one is polar molecular solid. Polar molecular solid. And the last one is, third one is hydrogen bonding molecular solid. So we are going to explain all these three kinds of molecular solids, starting with non-polar molecular solid. So if we talk about the non-polar molecular solid, what are the characteristic features of this solid? First we will see what are the constituent particles of non-polar solid. So if we talk about the constituent particles, these constituent particles are hydrogen gas, helium we cannot take here, hydrogen, argon gas, hydrogen also is in gas state, helium, argon, then we may take helium also, neon also, or N2, O2, etc. All the non-polar molecules which exist in gaseous form, etc. These are examples of non-polar molecular solids, and the constituent particles are hydrogen, S2, argon, helium, neon. Now here I am mentioning that this is in gaseous state, but it will be in gaseous state at normal temperature and pressure at NTP or STP. But if we keep temperature very low, at very high pressure and very low temperature, we can solidify these molecules. So we are talking about the solid state of these molecules at a very low temperature, not at ordinary condition. So what will be the binding force between them? If we talk about the binding force between these non-polar molecule, then binding force will be weak van der Waals force of attraction. This is also called weak dispersion force, which is a very weak dispersion force. In class 11th we have studied dipole induced attraction, that is weak dispersion force, and this weak dispersion force is also known as London dispersion force. This one is also known as, London is the name of scientist, so London dispersion force. So these are the force acting between these kinds of molecule, and these forces only operates when the separation between the molecules or constituent particles are in the range of 10 to the power minus 6 picometer. If they are very close, 10 to the power minus 6 picometer, in that case this weak dispersion force or London dispersion force. Very short distance this van der Waals force acts. Now next, if we talk about the properties, some physical properties of these solids, then first physical properties comes melting point. Melting and boiling point is very low. We know that this force is very weak force, so we can break this force easily. So melting and boiling point is very low melting point and boiling point. Second property is solubility. If we talk about the solubility, they will be insoluble in polar solvent, insoluble in polar solvent. They will not be soluble in polar solvent, because you can see these are the non-polar substance, and non-polar will be soluble in non-polar. So it will be insoluble in polar solvent and soluble in polar solvent. Soluble in polar solvent. Non-polar. We'll talk about the polar molecular solid. Polar molecular solid. The constituent particles of this will be constituent particle. A will be polar molecule. We know that in case of polar molecule, suppose any polar molecule AB is there, then it is polar because one of the element has more electronegativity. Due to high electronegativity, what will happen? This shared pair of electron will be more towards one of the atom. For example, suppose A is less electronegative than B, so this electron clouds will be more towards B and less towards A. So due to shifting of this electron cloud, it will acquire slightly negative charge and it will acquire slightly positive charge. Due to this partial positive and partial negative, this molecule is called polar. And obviously this is a dipole. In physics you have studied, when equal and opposite charges separated by very small distance, then that system is called dipole. So here you can see positive and negative charge is separated by very small distance, nuclear distance, so it is a dipole. And in dipole the binding force will be dipole-dipole attraction. So constituent particles are polar molecule like HCl, HBr, H2O, etc. These are examples of polar molecules, and obviously in the polar molecular solid, constituent particles will be polar molecules. If we talk about the binding force between these constituent particles will be dipole-dipole attraction. Dipole-dipole attraction. Many molecules are there. Suppose if we are taking this example, this is AB, this is indicating the electron cloud, and suppose it is acquiring, this one is acquiring negative charge and this one is acquiring positive charge. When other molecule will come, it will have same arrangement, that is slight positive and slight negative. So here negative part and here positive part, so one kind of attraction will be between these molecules. Attraction force will act between these molecules, and this attraction force is called dipole-dipole attraction, because this is a dipole, this one is also dipole, and opposite end or the end with opposite charges attract each other, and this attraction is called dipole-dipole attraction. Dipole-dipole attraction. So the binding force between the constituent particles are dipole-dipole attraction. Now if we talk about the physical properties, then the physical properties first melting and boiling point, then melting and boiling point will be higher than that of non-polar molecular solid but lesser than the ionic solid, because in ionic solid the attraction was more. Why attraction was more? There, if we see carefully, there full charge was there, not partial charge. Here you can see the charge is partial, but in case of ionic solid that charge was complete. So obviously if amount of charge will increase, the force of attraction will also increase, because in Coulomb's law we have studied force is directly proportional to product of magnitude of charges. So if charge will be more, attraction will be more, and if attraction will be more, obviously to break that we need to supply more amount of energy, and that's why melting and boiling point will be high. So in case of polar molecular solids, its melting and boiling point will be higher than non-polar molecular solid, because in non-polar molecular solid binding forces are weak London dispersion force, that is dipole induced dipole attraction. But in case of polar molecular solids, here there is dipole attraction which is more in strength compared to London forces but lesser than ionic solid, because in ionic solid complete electrostatic force of attraction acts. So melting and boiling point will be lower than ionic solid, but higher than non-polar molecular solid. Non-polar molecular solid.